Oh, man.
Turn your mic on. Oh. And then, I don't know who got them all up like this, but you wanna have that.
No one's here.
Yeah, but that's everybody that's on
But if
Zoom.
they're on Zoom,
It's recording too for our YouTube page,
so don't say anything inappropriate. If you were gonna.
I just meant that's what speakers are. Yeah, or not the speakers, no.
Do we want to give it a minute for Jack or do we want to get started?
Up to you, Chair.
Okay, I'll wait till 5:35 and then we'll start.
Does everybody have 5:35? Cause my laptop's saying 5:39.
5:30, really?
That's wrong. It's
5:33.
Okay, that's good. Then we're not as late as I was thinking.
What time zone is your laptop in?
I don't know what's going on, the laptop.
That's
is
Windows for you.
5:40. Okay, well, everybody who's on via Zoom, we're just gonna give it
One more minute.
one more minute.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
I tried to use the link in the.
Holy cow.
In the-
Passport in there too?
No, my passport expired. Sad.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't do it.
But you got a number of people on already?
I have two folks are on.
You know,
Yeah.
can't go.
I've never been in the winter ones, I know. I lived up there for years. Never saw winter.
Jackson, this one.
I lived in Jackson and I still have friends and I would like to call this meeting to order. With a roll call, please.
Commissioner Foister.
Here.
Commissioner List.
Here.
Commissioner Petroselli is absent. Commissioner Meyer is absent. Commissioner Seal. Here. Mayor Clark
Here.
and Chairperson Montague.
Here, and we are expecting Mr. Petroselli and we'll announce when he arrives for the record.
Thank you. Sounds good.
Have at it.
Start with item 1.
Item 1, an application amended plat of lot 2A, Northridge subdivision location lot 2A, Northridge subdivision, 565-585 Red Cliff Circle, parcel number as noted in the packet. Zone general commercial, applicant Cheryl Miller, Northridge CMT LLC, owner Northridge CMT LLC, care of Cheryl Miller.
Thank you. All right, the Northridge subdivision is a replat of lot 2, resulting in lots 2A and 2B. So this is amendment to lot 2A only. And I just want to make that distinction early on here. On the screen, this is a reminder about our public hearing process. And in this case, the town council is the decision maker. So planning commission will just be making a recommendation to town council. So the plat for Northridge subdivision was recorded on May 25th, 2006. I apologize, there's a typo in your packet or a mistake in your packet that says it was recorded way more recently, but this is from 2006. The plat displays a number of easements. Most of them are utility easements for water, sewer, electricity, telephone, natural gas, and other utilities. There's recreation easements, irrigation easements, and access easements, all shown on the plat. But the purpose of the amended plat is only to modify the mapped utility easements so that they're accurate with what's been installed. The property does include 3 apartment buildings, some dedicated right of way, and then a covered parking and storage area. And according to the Uray County Assessor, the buildings were constructed around 1997. So even before some of those mapped easements were platted as overlapping with some of the building footprints. So that's just to give you an idea of kind of how off they are. So the applicant is requesting approval of an amended plat to correct the various platted utility easements that fail to encompass the undergrounded utilities on the lot or that incorrectly overlap with existing structures. So this on the screen is displaying the amended plat that's proposed. And then the next screen that I have here is just what was already platted. So all those easements that have been modified, a zoomed in version. And there's no additional development proposed at this time. It's really just a cleanup. And I just want to touch on some of this stuff. There's no changes being proposed, but I just want to touch on the fact that this is zone general commercial. And then in our future land use map in the master plan, it's under the mixed use neighborhoods category. So this kind of medium density residential use is consistent with both of those things. Again, there's no changes being proposed with the use or how it's operating over there, but I just wanted to let you guys know that that is consistent. So the application has been forwarded to review agencies and the referral period has closed. I thought I had dates. I might have dates in your packet for when that happened. January 12th was when the referral period closed. There were no substantive comments, and then any review comments that did come back to the applicants, including planning plat red lines, have been adequately addressed. So it's perfectly clean. So the applicant submitted the application, all fees, plat materials, and other required support materials for this public hearing. And the property's been posted and the proper notification has been completed by the town. And at the timing of the drafting of the staff report, or actually now, there hasn't been any public comment received for or against the application, even though there's the signs up and all of that. So there's some approval criteria for an amended plat on your screen here. I don't think I need to read through them since we've done a bunch of these, but staff recommendation is approval of the amended plat for lot 2A, finding that all the criteria are met.
I have a question.
Happy to answer any questions.
I got ahead of you. I'm not clear exactly on where this is. It's across the highway, but I'm confused by the Mall Road because I thought the Mall Road was up to the county offices.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna scroll back to the overlay image here. So Red Cliff Circle and Mall Road are, yes, you're right. It's just, that's kind of a weird thing, but it's off of Red Cliff Circle.
Which is across the highway.
Yeah, so there's condos over there and then there's apartment buildings called North Ridge Apartments.
And it's all accessed on this side, not up by Vista Terrace.
Correct.
Okay.
It's the farthest north buildings in, right?
I don't know if this helps, but
Okay,
because it's,
so Mall Road's in that area, but it's not connected.
I
It's
think that's
separate.
I think that's a glitch county map system or something.
Okay.
Not all.
maybe there was like some anticipation of,
Maybe it was gonna
Not
connect
there.
through it.
Yeah,
That's
there
really
have
the
been-
question.
There have been discussions about
Yes,
creating
that
an area, but then.
So that might be what that is. That was what I had. Separate, slightly separate from the application, but I was curious. Hi, Jack.
Hey,
For the record, Mr. Petroselli has arrived.
present, a little late, but present. Sorry, I didn't realize what time it
Has
was.
presently arrived. Oh, let me get my
Okay.
stuff out of here. Does anyone else have any questions?
Actually, if you look at the plat itself, it lists Mall Road as basically is an easement. That I think was done when they did the development, as a potential connection.
Oh, so it's not even there, it's
It's over here,
just,
yeah.
okay. Great, that was my only question.
I was confused by the date there that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, the 2006, sorry about that.
Well, yeah, it
I don't-
have been wrong,
Yeah, I,
6 months.
no idea.
It's all good.
Sorry about that.
So, we want to hear from the applicant? Or allow the applicant to speak if they want to?
So I'm not sure who the Cosmic Nest is on here. But, I guess if there's anyone on here that wants to speak to the project, you're welcome to do so at this time. You just have to unmute.
Hey, Andy, it's Grant here. I don't know if Cheryl or Chris are on, but appreciate you all reviewing the cleanup on the utilities. Intent here is just to put the bright lines in the right spots.
Great,
Sounds good, thanks, Grant.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
And I will open it to public comment. Any public comment on Zoom? I will close public comment. Do we have a discussion at all on this? Any clarifications needed?
Seems like a really good way of doing some cleanup.
Okay, I am then ready for a motion.
I move to recommend approval of amended plat for lot 2A of Northridge subdivision. Finding that the criteria set forth in RMC 7-5-2, parent E, parent 3 have been met.
I'll second it.
Second by Bill. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next, we have
Thanks, Grant.
work session.
Thank you.
Consideration of future amendments to the Ridgway Municipal Code, Chapter 6 Building Regulations and Chapter 7 Land Use Regulations, certain 2024 International Code Council Code books, and regional amendments to the 2024 Colorado Low Energy Carbon Code, the 2025 Wildfire Resiliency Code, and others.
Thanks. So I'm gonna just acknowledge for the record that this was noticed as a public hearing item. It was gonna be a text amendment, public hearing, so it went in the newspaper and all of that good stuff. If anybody wants to know what happened in the recording. Now we're doing it as a work session. There's a few reasons for that. There's some delays in the publication of the Colorado Model Low Energy Carbon Code. The LECC is how I'm gonna refer to it throughout this presentation. We were hearing for quite a while that it was gonna be published by mid-January, and now it's looking like mid-March. And we have attached the book. It's pre-publication, and it is like not for you to share around, I guess is the rule related to getting that added to your staff packet. And then we also have some work to do on the ordinance to identify which appendices we're including from the many code books that are listed. And that will be part of the adoption. Since this is going to effectively repeal chapter 6 and replace it with whatever we adopt, either by reference or by like actually noting it and calling it out. All right. So I think I'll just start with where we're at. The town of Ridgway currently utilizes the 2018 International Code Council code books. The 2018 International Residential Code and International Commercial Code, the IRC and ICC. And the national standard is to update building codes every 3 to 6 years. So the goal is adoption of 2024 codes, which are the most up-to-date codes, as well as 2 Colorado state minimum codes. the Colorado Model Low Energy and Carbon Code, the LECC, with amendments applied, and I'll get into that a little bit here shortly. And then the Colorado Wildfire Resiliency Code, so the CWRC is how they're gonna be noted. So codes and select appendices being considered with the update. I don't think I need to list them all, they're all in your packet, there's quite a lot. But importantly, we have to just note that the Wildfire Resiliency Code is tacked on to the 2024 I codes. So the LECC and CWRC are the two state minimum codes we're covering today and that are outlined in your packet. Just a reminder that state minimum codes require compliance that meets the minimum, but allow for additional local regulation that exceeds the standards. So that, in this case, looks like regional amendments, and we have a regional amendment package that I'll present to you here shortly. But the package was created after a year and a half or so of regular meetings with our regional code cohort. And that included representatives from San Juan, San Miguel, all the jurisdictions in our region. So Jordan, Mike Gill before Jordan and I participated in those meetings and as part of the cohort. And Eco Action Partners were the facilitators that along with Lotus Sustainability drafted this amendment package for us. So typically text amendments to our land use regulations come before your board. But building codes and chapter 6 amendments might typically be handled at the town council level through an ordinance process. And you might not actually see them here at planning commission. But there's things in the state minimum codes that impact chapter 7 and chapter 6. So that's why we're going to be bringing it to you for a text amendment public hearing. Hopefully next month is the plan. So I'm just gonna present it all and then open it up to questions for myself or Jordan. And you might want to interrupt while I'm presenting in case there's something you're getting lost on. So please feel free to interrupt. Do you have something right now?
Yes,
Okay,
I forgot to congratulate Jordan on passing his inspection.
Oh.
Congratulations, a big deal. Hopefully it wasn't too easy.
It wasn't too easy, it wasn't too difficult, but thanks
Okay.
for giving me the space to do it and study on the job and all that.
Yeah, and we're really happy to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
Who
Thank
issues that, the state or?
International Code Council,
Oh, wow.
cool.
yeah.
There.
All right, thanks. Good job, Jordan. Okay, a bit more on the codes themselves, just to lay it all out there and go kind of bit by bit. So the 2024 International Energy Conservation Code is the national standard. And it gets updated, the International Energy Conservation Code gets updated every 3 years. The Colorado Model Low Energy Carbon Code is based on the 2024 IECC, so the national standard. But it has Colorado specific amendments, but it's being published as its own book. So that's the book we're waiting to get, for it to get published. And that's attached to your packet. So the Colorado Energy Office and the Department of Local Affairs was required to create the Colorado Low Energy Carbon Code for the purpose of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And there was a House Bill 22-1362 that required this. And then there's the local amendment package that I just mentioned that our code cohort has created, drafted, and we've attached it to your packet with staff commentary.
And our code cohort are both of you guys in TJ's office?
No TJ, it's just, yeah,
So the cohorts like counties, so Ridgway County, city of Ridgway hasn't participated that much, city of Telluride.
Regional.
Yeah, the idea to have regional, cohesive amendments,
Okay,
but I have no idea where everyone stands. I have to say that.
we're kind of the first to be getting this close to considering all of the amendments and adopting. In the cohort, I would say. And yeah, but I guess I'm not totally sure. But it comes from the Snaffles Energy Board, like that group. So anyway. Where was I? So I stole a couple of slides from Kim and Kendra, and I think this is also in our climate action plan, but I'm not totally sure. It includes Uray and San Miguel County's greenhouse gas emissions in 2023. And here it's showing that about 40% are coming from commercial or residential buildings. So just pointing out why this is so important to consider. And then I also stole this slide. It's got some history on greenhouse gas emissions and how they've gone down in residential and commercial buildings after these certain code books have been published and applied to different jurisdictions. So it's showing a downward trend with every update of the energy codes. All right. So I guess I can just I gave you enough background, I think, on how the regional amendment package came together.
I have just one thing.
Yeah,
The the LECC is mandatory to adopt July 1st, right?
well,
If you're updating.
if you're updating codes, it's supposed to be, it's technically after July 1st is when you would need to update or adopt the LECC, but we are choosing to not update to the 2021. So like, how do I explain this? Here's how it says it in the law. If updating a code, Colorado law requires local governments who adopt or update any building code to also adopt the 2021 International Energy Conservation Code and the state's Model Electric and Solar Ready Code or equivalent codes if the code update occurs before June 30th, 2026. Or the state's Model Low Energy Carbon Code if the code update occurs after July 1st, 2026. So if we don't adopt the 2024, then we'll have to adopt the 2021. Does that make sense? So we're skipping ahead to the latest and greatest. And there's a lot of reasons to that. If Jordan, you want to speak to that at all?
From everything we've heard, it's much more simple, the LECC, it's much more simple and flexible, what they say.
Wow, that's a little surprising.
I know.
Like, wait, what?
We'll see, but we're gonna adopt the whole raft of 2024 codes anyway, so it made sense to get on board. There are other jurisdictions preemptively, like Town of Telluride adopted 2024 codes in September preemptively to avoid this, like, I think. But anyway, we're just embracing it. It seems like it's a good idea, and from everything I've seen, it is simpler and it'll be easier to enforce.
That's great.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, the amendment package has been added to your packet with commentary. And I just wanted to note, there's commentary in blue there that's like from Eco Action Partners. It includes like a short note about the intent of each amendment. And then there's staff commentary in red. Thank you. And then I've also created just like slides for each, so we can kind of go through them amendment by amendment. We don't have to go super deep today, because our recommendation is going to be part of the adoption process anyway. So next month when we bring it to you, we'll want to get what your recommendation is on some of those. If you're good with staff recommendation, or if you have something that's different, we'll want to know then. All right. So I also just wanted to remind everyone that Eco Action Partners did present at the Sustainability Advisory Board in September. And they presented key amendments from the draft regional amendment package. We also saw them present that in October to us here. But in general, I just wanted to note that the Sustainability Advisory Board has made recommendations on some of those key amendments. And that in some cases, the staff recommendation is gonna differ from the Sustainability Advisory Board recommendation. And I think everybody understands the Sustainability Advisory Board's like purpose. And, basically making sure that town is keeping things for the enjoyment of future generations and practicing sustainability. So I guess I'll just jump into the amendment package, if that's okay with everyone. And if you have questions, we can talk about them, or I can take notes and get back to you about them. The first one is the log homes, additional efficiency requirements. So this was a recommended regional amendment. It talks about having log homes with certain glazing ratios, so like, window to floor area ratio. And they wanted to put some kind of guardrails on that. Since we're not seeing log homes as part of town's building landscape, staff's okay with you recommending that for, approval. It's more of a county thing, but, those are the first two amendments in the package. And then the third, fourth, and fifth are all related to this like continuous insulation idea. The first one talks about R5 continuous insulation in above grade wall assemblies. And staff doesn't recommend this because the state mandated fire code, which I'm gonna get into next, could conflict and possibly severely limit design options for exterior wall. And then,
So you may have said this, but are you able to not adopt some of the regional
yeah,
amendments?
these are all for each jurisdiction to
Okay.
consider, and they can pick and choose whatever they want.
Thanks.
The amendments are up
The
to
amendments are optional.
the code and the reg is not.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I'm going over all these with you guys, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, at least mostly. And some of these things I'm not the expert on. That's why Jordan's here.
And I can try to answer now, or if you wanna come to the office anytime and elaborate farther.
So I have a question on number 3 there, the R5 continuous insulation. Well, we're not gonna adopt that, but I thought our walls were R24. I mean,
So yeah, we have a wall assembly of R24 basically, and that's the cavity of R19 or R20, and then the continuous insulation of R5.
R5
Okay.
is 1 inch.
Yeah,
So, but now it's being recommended to not require the 1 inch?
exactly. So in the 2024 LECC, they offer you can fill the cavity with an R30. And mostly because of fire code and different assemblies. So the fire code, you're gonna have a 1 hour grading on your exterior walls. And they're still really slow to provide us with information on materials and what we can actually do. So to mandate in R5, so that's a 1 inch foam insulation on the exterior building, without knowing what the fire code is gonna mandate is really restrictive, and we don't know what that means. With the energy code, and we've been promised that you can fill a cavity with an R30, you can engineer your way to get the same energy efficiency without having that continuous R5 on the outside. We've said it's more flexible, so you might have to put stuff in other places. But yeah, I disagree with it just because it might really tie our hands with the fire code, and the fire code is gonna trump the energy code in my opinion. Or not trump it, just, it's more of a life safety thing than
so R30 cavity is foam only.
depending on how thick your wall is. So a spray foam is 7.5
Per inch,
per inch, so
5.5 inches, 7.5 times 5
Yeah.
is 35,
Pretty-
40.
I can't hear you, so
I'm sorry,
so you're gonna get an R30 in a 2x6 wall,
yes,
but that's be foam.
yes.
solid spray foam.
And this whole thing, it seems to be the difference between, 2x4. 2x4 construction and 2x6. Was it
Yeah, I think.
more or less? I mean, because
Those are a lot
2x4
different.
construction, you can get R18. But then you have to get the R24, you gotta get 5 inches. Well, 5 of R5,
So,
1 inch.
continuous insulation on the outside of the building envelope.
Yeah.
It's not just adding to the R value, it's also adding like a break in the thermal breaks, there's no
Right.
reason to it. But, yeah, the code council has decided that you can fill a cavity with an R30 and. Basically get to the same.
Keep the same, right?
So we're getting into like really conflicting issues now, because continuous insulation was something that came up within like the last 10 to 15 years.
Yes.
You know, and there's a lot of heat loss from the studs,
Bridging, yeah.
from the
Yeah.
bridging, so the continuous insulation was meant to go around that. There's very few homes that are built in Ridgway that are 2x4. Almost every home is 2x6.
Correct.
But I will say that, filling a 2x6 wall with a spray foam insulation, it's gonna be really expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're almost doubling the R value on that
Yeah.
wall from 19 to 30. And, it's gonna more, I would think, triple the cost or more.
Well, let me just say, you can still do an R5 continuous if
It's
that's
probably cheaper.
like stucco will check the box. So
Yeah.
you'll have your R5 continuous, your R20 in the bay, and then have a fire rated assembly.
So the stucco will achieve the fire rating.
Yes.
But it's stucco all you wanna see in your dress.
Yeah, so I just don't want to mandate, it's all stucco all the time.
We should limit the colors.
You don't want people to have options,
I'd
that's
be
why.
okay with most of
And this is an example where, you know, the Sustainability Advisory Board has a particular purpose, and like. They were in favor of this, right, Jordan, like just to. Make it more restrictive than the LACC.
But we still don't know what the fire code is.
Yeah, they weren't looking at it with the fire code. in
So,
place.
and this might be getting into the weeds here, but so with the fire code, the impending fire code, we're gonna see more stucco and more metal siding probably. I mean, is there any,
I've talked to a lot of suppliers, like Alpine Lumber and different suppliers, and asked what they're telling their builders, and they all say metal. I don't.
is there LP Smart Side?
Yeah,
Is that-
non-combustible siding, fiber
Is that-
cement, fire retardant treated wood,
I think
Um,
I don't-
heavy
I don't
timber
know.
or log wall construction is fine. Wood composite, it just depends on if it's. Fire retardant or fire rated, or, you know, there's
And
I have a
so
lot more information about that.
Jack asked about the LP,
LP Smart Side.
yeah, and that I think will qualify, so that
I think so, too.
comes in a 4x8, so it can be a shear wall and a fire rated assembly, so you could have that as your shear wall. And do a regular wood, so you could maintain some more interesting home designs, you know, and still meet that rating.
Is the fire rating, above the first floor? Is it on the second
It's
floor, the whole building?
Cool.
I don't know, that smart side, I'm not sure, it's like fast 3.
Yeah, I've asked the state to clarify and
Yeah.
we're waiting.
Yeah,
But
so
if that's, I mean,
we'll have to see what they come up with before we decide, but I mean, I'd hate to see us turn into a stucco
Well,
community.
I guess that's what I'm saying, my recommendation was to not mandate an R5 on the outside. My recommendation would be to give builders the option to do a stucco if they wanted, or to fill that cavity to 30 if they wanted.
Which in both cases would meet the LACC, because that's the minimum requirement.
And
Great.
there's also the possibility that I built with Sims,
Yeah,
That's what I was
you
gonna say.
know, which,
yeah,
Me too.
which
so,
takes care of the bridging,
Yeah.
possibilities.
yeah, this code for adopted mandatory R5, but SIPs or. we have
Yeah,
builder
that would be
double-
redundant, for SIPs, that's. Like,
So I did metal for the whole first floor, but then the second floor, it has some, wood, which wouldn't be allowed anymore.
You can,
It's not this,
well, we're figuring out the assemblies, there's gonna be a bunch of different ways, but you're saying like LP Smart Side potentially, so that could be a 1 hour fire rating behind the wood. So you might still be able to do that, but my fear is if you had that plus an R5 insulation plus wood, it would just get really cumbersome and
Hard to attach.
hard to attach. So if you could fill that cavity with an R30, it's
So,
getting the same product, they say, energy efficiency with more options.
so I got confused on what Bill was saying. So does the wall, does that achieve the R5 ramp that you built? The SIPs panel?
With SIPs, well, my point was that, with SIPs, to then require, I've got, I think, R30 wall to begin with.
Yeah.
To then mandate another, R5 would have been, you know, not useful. But, you know, so I think from a redundancy standpoint, probably good to have that flexibility of not requiring the R5.
Seems like I'm
We don't have
seeing
to
lots of
decide tonight.
six, you know? I
That's,
mean, you
that's
got-
what I was gonna say.
We don't have to decide tonight, we're going to bring this back to you,
Yeah, because then you don't have to.
and we have about
Yeah.
37 amendments to run through.
But, yeah,
It's
it's
a
not,
lot of time.
we should someone else kind of
But
discuss
you
that
should-
more.
Yeah, you should think about it for sure, I do.
Thank you.
I'm not trying to cut that off, that was good conversation, I'm just saying, we don't have to decide tonight, so if you need all your
Well, there's also
your
real,
questions answered.
Yeah.
Jordan's here in the office, I'm here in the office, we're happy to answer questions and get you the answers you need to feel comfortable. Okay, so did somebody have something else? Sorry.
Jack, do you have something else?
no, I'm just saying there's some real new interesting metal siding coming out that looks like barn wood and looks like. So there's options out there, but I think we're getting ahead, I'm getting ahead of everybody.
Okay, so the next part is remove maximum U factor, and that's related to this note about above 4,000 feet in elevation. So just, there's no practical reason to talk about that because we are all, everywhere is above 4,000 feet. So that's number 4. Number 5 is heated slab, the R value depth, and they've changed it from R5 to R10 for the full slab. And we say that this is practical and town already requires R10 under slab.
Great,
Is that 2 inches of foam?
yeah.
Yeah.
And towns on 2018, it requires R10 under slab, 2021, bounced to an R5, I don't know why. So we're just maintaining.
Now, this might be where Jordan needs to chime in about performance, component performance alternative. And like prescriptive pathway, which is like a couple of ways to, for the code to tell you how to get to approval. I don't know, do you want me to?
Yeah, what number are we on right now?
6 and 7. 6.
Yeah, so to get to compliance, there's multiple pathways. We're used to just a pure prescriptive pathway, or I say, 25 in the walls, 49 in the lid. But there's multiple pathways, and those are usually utilized in bigger communities, bigger homes, where you have simulated buildings or ERIs, where there's people that come in and it is flexibility, but it takes a professional to model the home and the energy use. And then that way you can, have glass on one side and you like sync the energy efficiency to a back wall or something. There's trade-offs. So anyway, this is just referencing a different pathway to compliance. That
Thank you.
makes sense.
Yes, thank you. So the first one is related to that continuous insulation again, which. Well, both of them are actually. One is talking about the component performance alternative and the R5 continuous insulation. And then the next one, number 7, is talking about steel framed walls also being required to meet that R5 continuous insulation, which was drafted for wood framed walls. So again, staff doesn't recommend these, state mandated fire codes could conflict again, so same conversations.
Same.
I think we should listen to staff.
Number 8, heated garages. So all heated exterior garage portal doors, they recommend changing the R value to R16. R12 is the typical in our area. And Jordan did a lot of research, and the cost difference between R16 and the typical R12 was the concern that he had. But it's actually pretty minimal, and so staff is okay with this recommendation. And then next is window to wall ratio. It sets a maximum window to wall area ratio for all homes. And that's a 30% or a 3% of like a skylight area. And the staff comment is that it may take away from, sorry, that's a typo, the benefits of like passive solar or other site-specific design options. It might kind of limit those. So staff is supportive of this in the prescriptive pathway only.
Yes, so there's other routes where you could do a totally passive house or whatever, you just have to pursue a different route to. Yeah,
Get the overall.
yes,
Like underground back wall or something like
yeah,
that.
Trunk walls, sorts of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a lot of different assemblies, you just have to do a different route to get there.
So are there gonna be ways to get variances, apply for variances for this, when you say?
Not typically.
Variances
Yeah.
are related to like dimensional standards in the land use code, so.
Do you need more windows for?
If you wanted more windows, then you could build a trunk wall.
So- Yeah, there's different pathways like ERI or simulated building, I think you can kind of engineer your way to whatever you want.
Okay, that's.
I think flexibility is
You'll
there.
have to pay for it, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want more windows, you put more insulation in the roof or something.
Yeah,
you can find
There's
some
kind of-
pay.
yeah, it's built in flexibility, so there's trade-offs you can give with.
I think that's important.
Maximum air leakage is number 10. And again, it allows for homes using the simulated building performance pathway or the ERI pathway to be built with a higher air leakage rate. So the language in there was changed to air leakage rate not greater than 2.5 air changes per hour in our climate zone, which is 6. And yeah, staff is supportive of aligning with our region and our classification as climate zone 6.
Would an air recirc system count as air leakage or no?
A what?
Air recirc where you're pulling,
No,
because it's contained.
yeah, so
Yeah,
blower door tests where, and we're gonna start doing those in town, but you kind of seal the house and test how tight it is. And you guys done any of those?
We haven't done it. I talked to Clint by text. He's in Turkey right now.
Yeah.
He is certified, but he doesn't have the equipment. He suggested talking to someone else. I don't think he's gonna be able to perform the tests.
Yeah.
Kim Wheels can.
Kim Wills and
Jake
Energy
Bolter.
Pro, the installation company, but he said he thought it'd be about $600 extra,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I think that's important that we consider.
Yeah, and
We're
that,
layering costs.
that was, I was hesitant on adding this, but it really has been required since 2006 to perform blower door test. It adds cost, but you're just testing the tightness and how well everything was installed. But that is something we're gonna start. Fine.
So you won't have the equipment, but the owner will have to find someone.
It'll be a
that
third
knows.
party,
So it'd be requirement of CO or something.
yeah. Part of the
What happens if you fail the test?
I know.
final leak.
Can they,
There's,
well, I've done them before, but I've never failed.
there's thermal, what's the,
Can they quantify the leak? or
basically like a
something?
thermal camera or.
Yeah.
The same technology
Trace
used
where the
to
air is going.
take your own temperature with one of the guns now.
yeah.
Same technology.
And this is an added cost, but again, this has been part of code since 2006. We just haven't, in a lot of jurisdictions haven't enforced it.
And I think that was part of it, was there was no one to do the test.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
in the code, and it was just like, okay, yeah, who are we gonna call?
It's been doing it for years.
You know, there was money available, through the state, because I know, the SIPs, houses are incredibly tight.
Yeah.
Kind of too tight,
Yeah.
Doors going through.
Can see
And,
my-
but we had a test done for free, as did Jen Coates, as a matter of fact, on her house. There were like half a dozen, you may remember this, half a dozen houses around town that had money, got money for, for testing. Not sure.
Yeah, that's true. That
You
was
can look out for
one.
things like that as they come up.
And another note, like to you, nobody's program that does it. Equal Action Partners has funds. You can get scholarships to get trained, to get certified. So
That would be useful.
they'll fill the gap or help fill the gap.
I even go to Black Canyon, that's paying for some of those. Not Black Canyon, Black Hills, the gas company. Anyway, yeah, it's doable.
It's been required and it's just kind of time. I think we have to start.
I wonder how soon we'll be zone 5.
All right,
Wait,
No more
that's where it's
changes.
going.
heat pump criteria is the next. It ensures heat pumps specified and installed are cold climate heat pumps appropriate for our climate zone. And it also adds a definition about heating capacity ratio relating to the heat pump's ability to handle our cold climate. And staff is supportive of this amendment. It makes sense for our region.
Great.
Okay. Next is demand response. And this one's a little odd because it's talking about, like, the example that it gives here is an off-grid home. And it would be impossible for them to participate in utility demand response programs, because they're not connected to the utility grid. And I don't know if I'll be good at explaining what demand response is, but does everybody have a little bit of an idea?
You're talking about electrical demand?
Yeah. Right,
Jump in, yeah.
go ahead.
That is part of the LECC is. Washers and dryers, I think water heaters. Some other mechanical equipment have to be demand response capable. Just capable, and that would be. In the event if you opt into the utility. They then. Can control your equipment, so the idea would be they could start or throttle down your water heater, or start your washer and dryer at a certain time. But code doesn't require that. They're requiring the equipment to be demand response capable, so that if you want to opt in to a greater utility, network, then you could. But they're not making you tie in, just the equipment must be capable of it.
What does that mean? How does it?
There was just a story about that with EV vehicle chargers
Mm-hmm.
and making it so that the demand rate is highest between 4 PM and 9 PM. So actually the utility can say they can control that appliance.
Yeah, and they know when the peak is, they can massage it as it's coming.
Right, so your appliances actually become connected to the network in such a way that the utility can shut it off. It's kind of creepy,
Yeah.
but
Well, what if they screw up?
what do you mean, yeah?
So, but that is the thing, all the equipment must be
Your car.
capable.
What's that?
All the equipment, I can't tell you which equipment exactly, but water heaters,
Washer dryers.
washer dryer. Must
Dryers
be,
particularly.
yeah, must be capable of that.
Or reason to have a gas hot water heater.
Well, the Colorado Energy Office told us that all new water heaters that are sold in the state of Colorado are demand response capable.
Okay.
And that's like a,
Mine's on there.
I
Is
don't.
there like a sticker, like, energy?
I'm guessing there must be something.
Anyways, staff is not recommending this amendment. Just because it's not really applicable to Ridgway development. It's an exception that's added for. Like someone to explain why they can't meet it. But But we don't have like off-grid homes or, yeah. So that's. Yeah. Okay. Renewable energy, so, sorry, there's a typo here. This requires renewable energy to be purchased or generated on site, and there's two options, A and D. One is 100% of the building's electricity use is required to be purchased from a green power production program. And then that's like SMPA's Totally Green program is one of those, for example. And then the other is at least 50% of the building's estimated electricity use calculated by a qualified professional must be provided on site by on-site renewable energy generation. And we just put discussion is needed here. Generally speaking, I don't think this is like getting staff support just because it's added costs. And we're not like tracking what people are paying for their utilities. We can get the one-time review when they go for a building permit. Just have them submit something saying they're part of SMPA's Totally Green program. But after that point, there's no way for us to monitor who has opted out. Unless I guess we could call SMPA and say, what's going on with this new building? But it seems a little policey.
Yeah, yes, intrusive, yeah.
So we've just put discussion needed because this is bigger than staff. And we don't wanna assume.
How much does it cost extra to use the green? Is it the green, what is it called, the SMPA, what is it, yeah, how much is it?
1 cent per kilowatt hour.
Exactly, they've got a great graph on their website, but I know for a bill, it was $150 a month, it'd be $8 a month.
Okay,
Maybe SMPA just needs to go totally green and then it's not an issue.
yeah,
Well, that's the other thing, this is for like. Generating green power, so in theory, that 1 cent per kilowatt hour that everyone pays in is going to help them improve their system to provide more renewable energy at utility scale. But like if, the reason I don't opt into this, for example, is just. It's not confirming that my energy use is coming from a green source, you know what I mean? So,
Well, and how will this affect the electric energy code proposal?
well, I don't know.
Me either.
San Miguel has one of the highest kilowatt hour cost already, so.
I mean, we can all agree it's like a great thing to support green energy. I just don't know that. This is our,
make it mandatory.
yeah, feels kind of hard to do. But
Okay, is that enough discussion?
if you think so,
Yeah.
this is gonna come up again in commercial, just so you know, so I can skip over it then. Next is large homes, so it changes the large home size threshold that's already in the LECC from 5,000 square feet to 3,500 square feet. And so there's a bunch of tables and stuff where this 5,000 is like the threshold for different requirements. And so it's making that go down to 3,500. Which is already a very large home. I think that Eco Action Partners told us that most of the homes, or maybe it was CEO, Colorado Energy Office, that most of the homes in Colorado are right around 2,000 square feet.
I wonder if this should be even more, if it should go down to 3,000, or I don't know, I mean, I don't know how big the homes average in Ridgway, honestly.
We aren't seeing many new homes that meet these large home sizes. So I think there was 2 in the last.
2 in the last 20 years that I can.
Yeah. I think it's like everything's getting smaller, so what, 5,000 used to be a big home, maybe 3,000 is a big home now.
Except for places like Telluride, how's Telluride doing?
They do.
Pay for it.
Please pay for it.
So staff is supportive of this, even though we're not seeing the new homes in this size.
Yeah, that
So-
seems reasonable.
So that's just the home, that's not the home and the ADU and the garage, is that just the heated? I mean, I need a little more information.
Yeah,
Is
it's
the-
not-
The garage
I mean, it's-
included in that and.
Heated
Is the
space.
garage conditioned or is the ADU connected? That's where you
Right.
figure those things out.
So is it gonna require detached ADUs? And I think there's some unintended consequences here.
Of the 3,500?
Yeah, lowering this and making, possibly having to have a detached ADU instead of an attached.
And it is one property creating that much conditioned floor area, so this is saying that they should meet these different
So,
marks to
Yeah.
comply.
Mhm.
Because they are a big energy user, despite if it's an ADU or a conditioned garage, that's sort of, that was their choice.
I don't see it as a big problem, Jack. I don't really. Most ADUs should detach anyway. I can't think.
Well, I think if it doesn't, it's inclusive of ADUs, then 3,500 is sensible. It'd be a 2,500 square foot house and a 1,000 ADU. It's not, that's not hideously luxurious or anything like that.
But then you can't have a heated garage.
Well, you just have to comply with,
Yeah,
energy
this isn't a
standards.
cap on the size,
It's
as
not
you
saying
get
you can't
bigger,
build
you have to offset your use with more renewables. So it's not a cap, it's a.
It's an incentive.
You pay more.
It's a carrot.
it's triggering a threshold for complying with the energy,
Yeah.
Renewable
standards.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there's-
it's not saying you can't do it.
There's places in Telluride, 60,000 square foot house in Telluride that comply somehow.
well, what,
Above my pay grade.
Yeah.
it says dwelling units, 3,500. A dwelling unit, so in an ADU, the definition of an ADU is an additional dwelling unit, so wouldn't that be a second, that would be a second.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I wouldn't want,
Gets
Yeah.
another.
I wouldn't want it to be total.
I put a note on that to look
Cool.
into that.
Great.
Anything else there?
How many did you say there are? 60?
No, there's 37. Some are repeated from residential and commercial. Is that what you're saying? The amendments?
Yeah.
Sorry, you're over it?
No, I just wondered. I want to be able to pace myself.
So
If I need to prod people along or if we can dawdle,
Okay,
that's all
so
I
this
need.
is another way of like explaining what the charts are and how they can comply. So this might help you with the last slide. But instead of the under 5,000, it's gonna be under 3,500. And instead of for the large homes, 5,000 to 7,500, it's gonna be 3,500 to 7,500. So these are the pathways.
Yeah.
There's the performance and the ERI and the prescriptive. Okay.
It's interesting. I've never seen anything on that.
Hold climate heat pumps and renewable energy on the performance pathway.
Yeah.
So this is that simulated building performance pathway that Jordan was mentioning, but I don't really know how to explain this one either.
It's all the same criteria. Eco Action Partners is just checking the boxes that they made sure that they plugged the holes, so that somebody didn't try to sneak in through a different pathway. So it's the exact same criteria. It's just-
Making sure that the heat pump is cold climate.
Yeah.
Capable. This is another one, Jordan, I might need your help on. So the resident HERS and the ERI compliance. And it's allowing these compliance pathways
Yes.
related to cold climate heat pumps and renewable energy.
That's
And the
building,
energy rating.
building
index.
and grading, and ResNet is like a proprietary name. So there used to be proprietary competition. So this just allows you to use multiple different proprietary software or rating systems to get to the same compliance.
Rating.
Yeah, so it's just opening it up to multiple compliance systems, rating systems.
And staff supportive of having more options that make sense for our region. Radiant heat, so there's just an error in the LECC that allows for double credit for installation of radiant in-floor heating systems with a high efficiency boiler. So our recommendation is to make the correction. It's just in a table that needs to be amended.
I have a question.
Sure.
when they say radiant, they're just meaning in-floor heat, right?
Mhm.
They're not talking about in the ceiling electric.
That's my understanding of the in-floor.
So it's just high. Because
But
I've seen
you could have
radiant heat in the
radiant
ceiling.
yeah, I think you can do radiant heat, the ceiling, I've never seen it.
Mostly
I have-
industrial. This is,
I've never.
burn yourself.
I have them,
Terrible.
I have them in my walls. Or on my walls.
Radiant heat.
Radiators? Nope. No. Hymns.
I feel like I've seen it.
Yeah, you can run the tubing for the hot
I've-
water wherever you want.
I've seen it in ceiling, but it was always electric.
Yeah, it wasn't hot water, it was electric.
This
Yeah.
one's talking
Yeah, I
about
saw-
for in-floor heating systems with a high efficiency
I
boiler.
always thought it'd be cool if you had a big concrete
different.
wall. to have
So
it
this one's
radiant.
specific to
Yeah.
water.
This is like up below ground or something.
And in-floor, for that matter, I guess, that's specified. Next.
I have one.
Okay, prescriptive pathway on a platter.
Yes.
It adds options for compliance through the prescriptive pathway for home to comply with additional energy efficiency credit requirements through a predetermined list, and that's the platter. And so there is like a very long list in the, I think you can see it in your packet. Not very long, but there's a list in there. And yeah, staff is supportive, but any area where third parties mentioned, our recommendation is it could be modified to building department. Yeah. So. Anything to add, Jordan?
No, so then the LECC requires baseline code compliance, but also some additional credits. So you have to do a couple of extra steps. So the pathway on a platter just offers, there's 10 items. We prescriptively tell you have to do A, B, and C, or C, B, and D, or something. It simplifies it. Because a lot of builders just want to know, tell me what to do. Yeah. So it's a good.
Do we have any architects paying attention to this stuff? I know some builders.
We invited them all to every.
We have a training, which I'll get to in here, March 26th. And that's for the building community, and we send it out to a list of architects and, builders and contractors that we know of.
It seems like the architects and the engineers pass off energy code to me. That's
Yeah.
what I'm finding to the buildings.
Okay. Solar readiness is the next. It's an amendment that adds more specific instructions for submitting solar ready construction documents for single family, townhouse and multifamily projects. And staff is not recommending this. It's already addressed in the LECC, so it feels redundant. Next is REMP 10.
How long the acronyms, huh?
Amendment options. So REMP is Renewable Energy Mitigation Program. And this is only applicable to jurisdictions that have an existing renewable energy mitigation program. So we said that staff does not recommend because it's not applicable. Anything on that? Okay. And then the alterations. So it clarifies that additional efficiency credits are required for alterations where the work area is 50% or more of floor area. So it's just changing the substantial improvements that are in the LECC and replacing it with alterations where the work area is 50% or more of the gross condition floor area of the dwelling unit. So specifying what substantial improvements are. But it is already addressed in the
Existing or international existing.
International Existing Building Code. The staff believe it could be a good trigger to have in here as well, so we're supportive of the amendment. Substantial cost difference. Now we're into the commercial amendments, so we're getting there. So this is for jurisdictions that want to remove the substantial cost difference waiver. And there is a waiver in there talking about buildings of a certain percentage of costs that it would take to get them to comply with. I don't really know.
Understand that.
But it's removing an option essentially in its entirety. And the substantial cost differential waiver would require quite a bit of process and probably a reasonable investment to apply to the project. Does that make sense? So like to say, I want this waiver and to give us all the information that we need to see to grant the waiver. That would be like someone that's very committed, you know? So we didn't want to remove that option. Just, we're not supportive of the amendment at this time. It's kind of a larger community conversation, since the implications could be large, because it is related to large buildings.
Yeah, a commercial property of 10,000 square feet would be a big deal underneath a lot of review, and I don't wanna even want to, hamstring it or. Just think there's a lot more.
So older buildings in town, like the old school building,
10,000 square feet would be,
I mean,
Well,
the
this
place
is
we have to have
a retroactive code
there
either,
on 1A.
Jack, so
I'm sorry?
it's not a retroactive
Yeah.
code either,
Okay.
so it's not gonna apply to existing buildings.
Well, if
If they do a
50%
substantial
redo.
then it would,
yeah, then it kicks in.
but it's not, retroactive, it's.
We don't have too many 10,000 square foot buildings.
Do we have any?
school.
Well, the old school, so
Space to create.
space to create, it's that old building. Yeah,
Market.
I don't think Remax is 10,000, might be close.
Just,
There's a 10,000 square foot building in
Just
the
see-
industrial park.
something that big would come under review, and
Yeah,
I wanna keep the options open for.
yeah, no, I think it makes good sense.
Okay, mechanical design, this is talking about manual J design temperatures for each community. And we want to align it with the fact that we are, in climate zone 6. And so there's some, design temperatures, and it includes updating a table, so I don't know how to.
Yeah,
I didn't explain that well.
a lot of jurisdictions don't have climate design criteria, we do. Which Kim Wheels helped design it for us 10 years ago or something, so we already have this in place, it's not necessary. It's in our. Cool.
Yeah, so staff is supportive, but it's maybe redundant.
Yeah.
And then, my note here is may be redundant based on I code adoptions and appendices. Because as I mentioned before, we have some work to do on making sure the ordinance is adopting all the appendices that we want adopted, because they need to be like explicitly called out. And our assessment is underway for all of that. Heat pump criteria, this is the same thing, but for commercial buildings. And staff is supportive of cold climate heat pumps. Pool covers. Heated pools. So this just extends pool cover requirements to indoor pools as well, because we have tons of those. And staff supportive, though it's not a common type of development here.
Is a hot tub a pool?
There's a specific definition, right? Of hot tub versus pool. We don't know yet.
So is this about not breathing the chlorine, or is this about water evaporation?
Well, there's some,
There's capturing.
The
So
heat.
you must, yeah, cover it to retain that.
Okay,
and also the water vapor part of it, which ties into that.
which seems kind of intuitive, like, well, nobody wants to pay extra to heat their hot tub.
Yeah, you know, see that.
I was thinking if we ever have a new hotel, they'd probably have a hot tub outside. Well, I guess nowadays it'd be inside.
It's already required for outdoor spas and pools, so this is applying it to indoor. Okay,
Cool.
renewable energy, same thing here for commercial. And again, we just put discussion is needed. It's like a bigger conversation. Solar ready for commercial. It adds specific instructions for submitting solar ready construction documents. And this is also a redundancy, and so staff's not recommending it.
I've got a question. So what does solar ready mean? Solar ready means is
Yeah.
space in the panel?
And I can kind of want to touch on that. So this LECC includes EV ready, all electric ready, and solar ready. So the house must be constructed to that criteria, but yeah, solar ready, all that means is you have to have a roof that says, I can put solar panels here.
Would you need to have like the conduit in place?
Yeah, you have to have enough space in the panel, you have to have enough space in your mechanical room, enough ventilation. A lot of that is gonna be handled by the state electrical board, as far as panel space and what they're running, because that's not really our deal.
Dora, do
But
you
yeah, this LACC does include electric ready, solar ready, and EV ready.
And you think you have to have the conduit in place, or I was thinking like if you had an outside panel, then that qualifies, as long as it's accessible, I think.
For solar, you don't have to have a panel, or I mean, you don't have to have conduit.
Okay, yeah,
You just need to identify a roof pitch and have enough roof that would count. You don't have to have anything around, you have to have space. in the
Does it
panel.
have to be roof, specific, because,
What if your roof
yeah,
faces
for
north?
instance,
yeah, or.
Yeah,
yeah, I can
trees.
foresee. Just on my own
Yeah.
property, I wouldn't wanna have something that was, it's on a north-south axis. So I wouldn't wanna have something that's only, east or only west. I'd probably opt to have something on the ground, on the south.
Yeah, I think there's still some common sense within the building department, so we can figure that out locally,
alright.
I would assume.
So I'm not familiar with EV ready. So is that EV's like a 220 plug, right? I mean, is it
I think so.
requiring
I'm
different?
not that familiar either.
Are they 440 or 220?
220.
220?
You can even do 110, but 220
You
is the
can-
level 3 charge.
Yeah, I just don't know.
I think you just have to have the breakers for it.
It might be better than that.
I'm sure.
You might just have to identify the
Just have
space.
this, the
and then maybe-
breakers
I
available.
think you just have to have breaker space,
Yeah, I think that's right.
just breaker space. I think we're talking about real estate in the panel, not, I don't think you need to, I don't think you need to break.
So your service box would need to be big enough?
Yeah. You have to have
Yeah.
something big.
Yeah, nice.
I think we're talking about real estate in the panel.
I think so.
Hey,
I think that's already part of the electrical code, that it has to be solar ready.
It's been a conversation, it's like, who's gonna enforce this, because a lot of that is above me, I don't think.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
the state will be.
Yeah.
Even.
I'm sure we'll be told what we have to do, so.
We're at 37.
Holy cow,
performance
Yeah.
pathway, cold climate heat pumps and renewable energy.
23 more.
Staff is supportive and it makes sense for our region, it's just amending a table to include. This information.
I appreciate your recommendations on these. I can't
Yeah.
imagine if you would have just been like, what do you guys think?
Well, we brought key amendments to you guys, Eco Action Partners presented those. So all of that's informed, staff recommendations, but, okay. Do we wanna talk about manual J design criteria at all here, or is it unnecessary? It's,
I had to do one of these when I built my house and I never knew like what to do with it. Once I had it, like the heat system was already in. I'm like, okay, great. I did it. I checked the box. I'd have to find it. I must have it somewhere.
So the manual J talks about is kind of waste of time, it's required.
Thank you.
But this is in reference to the design criteria, which is already in the Ridgway Municipal Code. So the design criteria is already there. Manual J is another topic.
So do we have to keep requiring that? Cause it costs like $500.
There are ways you can do your own,
Yeah.
I do my own often.
And that's another thing about the pathways. So a manual J is required in the prescriptive pathway. If you're to go a different pathway to compliance, a lot of those don't require a manual J. They just. I'm sure.
Okay. Mike wrote me a poem. It would make my day if you got your manual.
oh, yeah. Good with words. Okay. We're on to the Colorado Wildfire Resiliency Code, and I will try to keep this very brief because it is a state mandated minimum code. And we don't have any amendments that we're proposing to this, we're just planning or hoping to just adopt it by reference. So a couple things, Senate Bill 23-166 establishes the Wildfire Resiliency Code Board. And their responsibility is to adopt model codes requiring governing bodies with jurisdictions in areas within wildland urban interface or WUI. To adopt codes that meet or exceed standards in model codes. And so the WUI definition is here, and it's that geographical area where structures and other human development meets or intermingles with wildland or vegetative fuels. So part of this code, it includes these fire intensity classifications, which correspond to the regulations that apply to your jurisdiction. And it applies to new construction and then significant alterations to existing structures, which I'll get into a little bit.
The significant is 50%.
There's some floor area, depending on what you're doing, if you're doing an addition, it's based on your square footage. Same with wall area, I think. Siding is a square footage amount, so it's not a percentage, it's a square footage amount. So the timeline here is that the state is mandating that jurisdictions adopt this by April 1st. But they need to implement it by July 1st of this year. The code is required, but the appendices are optional, and staff is not recommending adopting the appendices. They cover things that are already handled in our established building permit process, like permitting, construction documents, and inspection and enforcement. I think it's for jurisdictions that don't have building codes or a permitting process that's as defined, so.
And they'll have an answer to you on what materials are allowed by then?
We will take it case by case and figure it out.
Okay.
It's gonna be great. All right. So Ridgway is classified as this moderate intensity, which falls into the class 2 requirements. Class 2 requirements require that you follow everything that's going to be required in class 1, plus some. So there's really no distinction between the moderate intensity and the high intensity. There's only a distinction between the low intensity and moderate or high. So here's a map of Ridgway, and as you can see, it's all classified as that moderate intensity. And
I'm curious go back to that map.
sure.
What are the areas that don't have any color? Map shows two underneath.
So some of them are like federal land and tribal
It's
areas.
funny because some of it, there's a hexagon that overlays with the middle of Vista Terrace.
Yeah, I know those. We actually talked about that in our, so Jordan and I have been attending these
That might be the dumb.
these meetings.
No,
Yeah, I think that the map's not perfect.
I think it's a
Yeah.
weird anomaly.
yeah, it must be, because
And
that
they-
kind of overlaps part of McChesney's property and used to be McChesney's. Yes, it's weird.
Oh.
It's gotta be in there.
They do intend to update the map every 3 years, so I think this is just what they could do at this point.
What's the surprise? Well, it looks like it doesn't matter. That's just medium and high and the same.
So this code has to do with hardening structures, and also site maintenance. And,
You can go back to the next group, thanks. Slide,
okay,
there you go, thanks.
so here's the exemptions. So this is kind of what you're asking about here. Additions less than 5,000 or 500 square feet, excuse me, are exempt. There's also reconstruction, it is a 25%. Reconstruction, replacement, or alterations, less than 25% of the surface area of exterior walls, roofs. So it is a percentage.
Pretty additions of 500 square feet is really small, so it gets kicked in pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody puts a 500 square foot addition on it.
yeah, and if you're only intending to update 25% of your siding, and then you have to
That kicks in.
update all of it, That's kind of extreme, but, there we are. It also touches on sheds and, if they're less than hundred and twenty square feet and 10 feet from an occupiable structure, then they are exempt. Fences that are more than 8 feet, more than 8 feet from a habitable structure. And then this doesn't really matter to us here in Ridgway too much, but parcels that are over 35 acres, and there's some other criteria, that's discussed in the code.
That note on that designated historical structures, or historic structures. Is it state designated or federally designated? I wouldn't,
Yeah, it's,
cause
so we
have,
don't have local designation, and then state doesn't, it has like, best practices for treatment of historical structures, but it doesn't actually require, it doesn't require anything, they're guidelines. So, look,
there's a number of structures in Ridgway that
Mhm.
have the plaque that they're historic. I just don't know.
yeah, the only way that like the historic designation has a lot of teeth is if you also have a local designation that actually applies standards that you have to meet.
Huh.
Otherwise it's just
That's
guidelines,
the plaque at your door.
Right.
which is unfortunate. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Would like to work on that.
Well, and I wonder, like, so the Erie County Historical Society, I think that's where our plaques come from. Yeah. Is that not considered a level?
I mean, we don't have, as far as I know, Town of Ridgway doesn't have
Town of Ridgway.
local
County.
designation.
You're right,
Erie County,
Town.
but it's Erie County Historical Society. It's not
it's not the
a
jurisdiction.
governmental.
Yeah, I have never heard that anything was like to be applied to historic buildings.
Probably not. We want all our structures to be adequately.
And the old ones burned down, so.
Most of it.
I think this slide's just kind of sad to look at.
It's actually interesting.
Okay, well.
I already read it all.
Yeah, it's talking about how homes can burn down from wildfires. And we're not just talking about, trees, it's embers, direct flame contact, and then also the house to house and the radiant heat that happens.
Well, and I was reading in the California fires that the shingled roofs, like that material is flammable.
The what, the shaker?
The tar, what is it? Shingled roofs.
Asphalt.
Yeah,
Shingles,
yeah, that those are flammable and that embers can wedge, in the
I mean,
cracks and stuff and burn through to the roof.
But there is different classifications of shingles, so town already requires like a class A, and that's what this requires, it's just a much more robust shingle. So I'm guessing some of those in California were a lesser.
The thing that I think isn't well represented in the embers thing, those embers can travel miles. Miles. I mean, we think we're relatively safe here in Ridgway because we don't have the pinyon juniper all around us, but if Log Hill goes and the embers are blowing this way, we would be definitely.
Marshall and Superior, that fire, what is it, 1,400 homes?
Yeah,
It just,
and it was mostly embers, yeah.
Right? It was grass, it wasn't trees, there were trees there, it was all grass.
was built of stone and adobe with just not even a wood shingle roof, but the heat is so intense from that grass fire, it was very high winds.
100 mile an hour.
All 100 mile an hour winds, yeah. That it just, it was, if you've ever used a bellows to heat up a fire, that's exactly what happened, and those embers just, hit the small amount of wood that was exposed on his house.
It was like hitting it with a
Everything-
torch.
Yeah,
There was a nice stone shell left when it came back.
yeah, actually, and he just, I was just down, he's celebrating his new house. And the shell of the old house is being redone. Cause it was a stage stuff, so it was a historical structure.
Interesting.
And so he is redoing that.
But the, like, Lahaina and LA, like the autopsies of those is how this all came about.
Yep.
They studied all that, and that's why this is. That's the thought.
It's really interesting, I think.
Yeah, it's really important.
Kind of interesting the way that on those examples, they show the roof catching first. It's all roof contamination. It's not showing it siding, so I think the roof's important.
So staff have participated in a variety of training sessions about the CWRC. We've asked questions specific to our context, and received some guidance from state representatives and community planning assistance for wildfire, which is an organization, CPAW. They're a group tasked with helping localities adopt and implement the CWRC. And CPAW has been really helpful in explaining the code, its nuances, and producing different materials and infographics to share with the public and community stakeholders. So we're gonna be trying to like gather those items and help people out and help them understand what's coming into play pretty shortly here. And there's also, I just want to touch on the mapping again real quick. So initially, when we started having those meetings, it was kind of thought that we could go through a ground truthing exercise to assess whether our mapping was correct and then correct it where it was not. And we weren't sure if it might be beneficial to stakeholders, but staff no longer really views it that way. But if leadership does want staff to kind of pursue the ground truthing, I think we've heard from CPAW and the powers that be that there's kind of very little reason to assume that it would result in any changes.
I mean, it's so homogeneous, so
Yeah.
look at it, it's like.
And I think you noted that it was gonna be expensive.
I think it would be a significant cost.
I think we can all.
At least at this level, they're gonna, I guess, they'll assess and see how things go once this is in place. All around the state, and maybe they'll open up some pathways to make it a little easier. Or modify things in the code, but right now, this is what we got.
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to touch on that. So here's like the regulation summary, and it touches on roof, exterior walls, windows, doors, eaves, gutters and vents, decks and porches, landscaping and fencing. So all of those things are very important. Class 1, the low fire intensity, this is kind of the outline of what's required, but all of this is required, plus then all of this for us, because we're moderate.
And so this is just for new construction, and if you are remodeling a certain percent, blah, blah, blah. But is there anything that the state's doing to encourage existing buildings? Right? It's kind of like our dark sky thing, like that's great for new construction.
The landscaping maintenance part is something we've kind of talked about quite a bit, and like how to get existing homes to just like be mindful of that. And I think that's really what a lot of the CPAW materials are, like there's a, regardless of what regulations apply to you, they have like handouts that basically explain you can tackle many effective wildfire resilient projects in a weekend. And it talks about keeping your roof and gutters clean, securing the area under your home porch and deck, removing flammable items away from your home, maintaining your yard. So there's like things, they're trying to push that, but there's no requirement. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah, there's no teeth to it, but they're trying to educate.
It's
people.
educational, yeah.
Is that what's putting on our record?
There's a recommendation to get like the fire department involved, just because people like to listen to more fire departments, so
Sure.
we're trying to reach out to them, and hopefully, as far as maintenance and just public outreach, that'd be a great tool. We might listen to fire department more.
Well, in landscape, like do not plant trees next to your house, like you see that all the time, and it's like, that is
Bushes.
not
Yeah,
a good idea, even
Shrubs.
that tree's gonna grow. It's always amazing to me when you see these trees that are really big next to a house. It's like, did you not know it was gonna grow?
Well, I think, I'm afraid this is gonna conflict with our landscape code in a lot of ways, you know, and,
It could.
Well, if you remember, we did update the landscaping regulations.
With
and
mulch, we talked about, right,
Well-
that it's flammable.
We also included a note that whichever between the wildfire resiliency code and what's in our regulations is more restrictive, that's what governs. Which is in our code regardless, but state regulation can trump our local regulation, so we're just kind of. We as staff are gonna have to keep that in mind as we assess landscaping plans. But it's not a concern from like a code perspective, if that helps. Okay, so here's the list, I don't know if you want me to expand on any of these. So there's more information on these slides talking about like your structured ignition zone. The immediate zone within 5 feet,
yeah, I don't see
yeah.
the intermediate zone, 5 to 30 feet, and the expanded zone. So this is an important note here in Ridgway. That in more like urban or dense areas, the structure ignition zone may end past your property line, depending on the site layout and lot dimensions. We've got very small lots and very small setbacks. This code cannot obviously like make you do something on your neighbor's yard. Yeah, it's
Oh my god,
Did everyone drive here tonight?
no,
You need a ride?
oh, yeah, we'll make sure.
Make sure.
I brought a hat.
Come on.
Okay, nice, not that far. Buffalo, come on.
Okay.
Wow.
You're the one who said, whoa.
Well, it's like a blizzard. We don't have blizzards here.
You know.
Sure we do. Like shit.
Okay, well, enforcement, you know, there's some flexibility in the code, for like how staff are reviewing things and I guess enforcement we already have in our code, so this is what Jordan just touched on too, with the fire districts. Some jurisdictions are really involving their fire district and requiring or having them be like the enforcement hand. We're not doing that, but options. And yeah, I guess here again, they're talking about the ability to apply more stringent requirements across the community. But they just cannot be less restrictive, but staff is recommending the code as written, no amendments to. So I don't know if I need to go into the details, if you guys are interested, I can send you the slides, or this is a really great, 3-pager from CPAW, and it has all the same information on it. That I can get everyone a copy of. But it's,
What about putting those on the website?
yeah, sure.
And you're gonna share your slides after the fact, anyway, you usually do everything.
Yeah, I put them in the Dropbox.
Yeah.
So if you want me to send a note that they're in there or something like that, I can do that. Is that helpful?
Are they in there now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Therese, that you usually do right after the fact.
I was reading about that mesh screening on the, from the California fires. And some of the houses that made it, like had metal roofs, but had the mesh screening on all their vents.
For soffit vents, you have to have really tight or foundation vents.
Crazy.
Sucks the embers in, we have some years.
That's what roofs are kind of designed to do, like circulate air, so it's.
Yeah.
So I mean, this stuff's self-explanatory. I don't think you want to hear me read it to you, unless you do, let me know. Okay.
Definitely not.
I know I'm getting sick of my own voice too. Alright,
This is all good, but
it's all good information and it's all in a 3-page handout, so.
Or just send a link and we can.
you're making me think I need to replace my cabinet.
No more windows.
Okay, this is the last slide that I have on both codes and our code updates in general. I have some key dates here. so, February 26th, we're doing a public information session on the LECC. It's not necessarily customized to Ridgway, so not like, I don't know if we're gonna focus on regional amendments much, or if we're just talking about the low energy carbon code as it's written. But someone from CEO, Colorado Energy Office will be there to answer questions. I don't know, virtually, I assume.
So we should be here. That's a week from today.
That's a Decker building.
No, it's here.
Week from tomorrow.
I mean, everyone's welcome, but it is geared toward like building contractors serving, yeah. It's at 3 o'clock, so that's kind of the other thing about it. It's open to the public, but it is geared toward like the contractors and
Construction.
construction folks. Yeah, but you're welcome to come.
I'm coming.
Okay. And there is a Zoom option available, and the flyers are posted around town. There's also a couple here at town hall if you wanna scan the Zoom option link and you can also go on Eco Action Partners website. Okay, and then March 18th is when we were planning to bring this text amendment to you for a public hearing.
One more question on this.
Sure.
Is it set up as a presentation or people come and go and ask questions? Like,
It's a presentation. I mean, you can still ask questions, but I think it's kind of a formal presentation.
okay.
Okay, March 18, text amendment, public hearing at planning commission. March 26th is that other training on the LECC, and I thought that one was for the building community, is that right? Okay, well. Another training.
I like
session.
how you lined them up on the same day of the month. It might help people remember.
People have been participating. Eco Action Partners has done a bunch of outreach stuff, and a lot of the stuff is recorded, so if you wanna watch. Any of them speak much more eloquently about the low energy carbon code and the amendment package. You can find that on the website. April 1st is the deadline for adoption of the Colorado Wildfire Resiliency Code. We will not be meeting that deadline. That's why it's in red here. April 8th, first reading of the ordinance at town council. And May 13th, assumed second reading and adoption consideration. And then July 1st is what we were considering setting as the effective date for the ordinance. And that will be a little bit, give us a little more time than the 30 days that are required through the ordinance process. And the point is to meet that July 1st implementation deadline for the CWRC. And then also to just help us get more materials like this and get more information out to the public.
It's on April Fool's Day. They'll be like, oh, just kidding. It's not really a deadline.
That's all I got.
There's no fine for not meeting the adoption deadline.
And there's a lot of jurisdictions that just aren't doing it.
I think so. There's some
Really?
jurisdictions that don't even know that this is.
So the insurance companies go, hey, hello.
There's been a lot of talk about whether insurance companies are tracking with this to see, people are worried about if they're gonna lose insurance by not adopting, but states saying that no, the insurance companies are not involved. But anyway, we're not gonna get penalized, hopefully, by not meeting their schedule, because a lot of people aren't even entertaining it. So
And it's really the adoption, the implementation part we will meet if we follow that timeline, so. Why they spaced them so much, I don't really understand, but, yeah, it's just pretty tight to get it adopted by April 1st. I won't be able to do it at this rate.
Thank you.
Good
That's
job.
all.
Good
Thanks,
job.
Ryan.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was.
Any questions? Where would we start? No. No, that was, I just wanted to listen. It's like, I have no questions. I just needed to listen. It's good. It's big.
I just want,
Oh, I'm sorry. How's so far, how is the building community responding?
I think people are kind of like.
Are they just like
it's-
gobsmacked, can't see straight or?
Have you guys built rubbish here?
A lot of people don't know about it, for one thing,
Yeah,
and I
and
think
you
there's
just
just a
don't-
lot of questions, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, what kind of sightings are gonna be allowed, I mean, those are huge questions. You know, there's too many unknowns right now, I think, like Jordan said, there's Just kind of waiting for people to tell us what we need to do, you know?
We have been asking those questions, and people know, but the
Yeah.
state, I don't think the state necessarily knows yet. So I've gotten a lot of information, like I was telling you about California, what California accepts. And I think we could probably operate on that and be safe, but. Yeah, I think the building committee doesn't really know. But they also haven't been helping themselves by educating themselves.
I'll be curious when we meet next month, after that first presentation to the building community, I'll be curious to what you bring back.
Yeah.
What were their questions, you know, are they starting to grasp the scope of this?
And I think a lot of people are just accepting it as a state mandate and they're just gonna
Just do it.
move forward and see how it goes. They're
I've
not
heard
like
more
thinking
concerned about the
way on
energy,
Ridgway.
the electric energy code. People are like, what? Oh,
The
electric.
potential all electric.
Yeah, there's concern about that. That's what I've heard. I haven't heard anything about this.
I mean, this could really add a lot cost to housing though, for sure. I mean, all these things, we talked about affordability and we've been working on affordability for so many years and it's just.
Well, like Vista Commons, all those houses are all electric.
Right,
I
You know,
think,
they just went at it from day one.
sure, the 3 houses we built on our project are all electric as well. You know, it's just, it could be just layers of expenses, and when you just start thinking about, you know, oh God, I can't do a wood soffit anymore, it has to be metal, and this, and it just gets more and more expensive.
Well, and Russ has something to say about building all electric. He's like, it's really expensive and it's expensive to run it.
I think that this wildfire code is gonna be very, very significant. I think the energy code is insignificant to the wildfire code. I think, for instance, my house in Ridgway, they canceled the insurance on it. And farmers canceled all their insurance in the state of Colorado. These insurance companies are really emboldened. And I think they're gonna require documentation, and like my roof was 15 years old, they said it's too old to insure your house. It says a 50-year roof, put it on.
Is it
So they wanted
asphalt?
me to replace my roof, a 50-year roof at 15 years.
Is it metal?
No,
It's asphalt?
that's what's the architectural shingle for the year when I bought it, it was 50-year deal. So I think.
Yeah.
This is gonna be forced on us, whether we like it or not, and it's gonna raise our costs significantly, much more than the energy code. These, just bought a house in Montrose and the insurance company said, we want a new roof, period.
Wow, something.
Yeah, I mean, they're just,
Executive processes.
they're slowly getting out of control. Yeah, they're just telling you, we won't give insurance, but you put a new roof on it.
Yeah.
The roof's good.
Yep.
Then we want the soffit painted.
I will just say that this inventory WRC,
With special paint?
No,
they've not at any point, you know. Guaranteed this will help with insurance. They've never said that. Just we all know.
I think in the next decade or so, insurance is gonna be a big.
We're facing an insurance crisis without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the energy code is gonna be insignificant compared to what's gonna be shoved down our throat on the insurance.
Well, hasn't, California in some cases done some self-insurance where they can't get coverage and I think the state has stepped in? I think.
State, there's a state fund, but there's no money in it.
Colorado has something where they're talking about it.
Right,
I
exactly.
mean, it seems
It's
like it's gonna be the way to
California
go
after all.
because it's
Yeah.
capitalism.
Well, I think even in Florida, they have a state fund to supplement regular private insurance. I'm not sure how it works, but that's what California like had a $500 million fund or more money to supplement
Yeah,
coverages.
but not to supplement the insurance companies.
No, to supplement what the insurance companies didn't cover.
Colorado has that.
Yeah, I think the insurance companies were requiring $50,000 deductibles, $100,000 deductibles on these bigger houses. So I think that the state insurance fund was to help with that. And I'm not sure how that works, but I think it's all the states gonna do it. It's gonna be, it's kind of like flood insurance.
And like.
Which is not known for its
like that.
particular efficacy, but yeah.
Next to the.
Are we ready to move on?
Sure, I mean,
Approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion?
so moved.
Second. That would be the January 21st meeting minutes.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Hi.
I'm gonna abstain since I was absent.
Oh, thank you. Motion passes unanimously with John abstaining. And then we're on other business. Is there any updates from planning staff?
Today I'm on the Ray County Planning Commission, and we met today. We're meeting twice a month to work on the definition. We're starting with the definitions in the Uray County Land Use Code. So we're gonna be doing exactly what we were doing for the next year or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you say twice a month?
Yes.
Wow.
Are they having conversations about building codes or the fire?
We haven't had any of these. So I don't know if they're just taking it like the requirements at the, just the county commissioners level right now. Because it's not on our radar.
Okay.
I think Uray County already adopted the WUI.
Just like, I've had people complain to me about the fact that the windows all have to be tempered. And
Yeah. Yeah,
it's a big deal. County's already gone through on this.
All of them or just near a door?
Oh,
all of them for fire, not for breakage,
But I think,
which isn't that expensive.
It isn't?
Windows aren't that much more expensive, but I don't know what else it puts on there.
and I think there was, I can't remember which elements where the county thought that they were at or above the requirements and they weren't. So there's still some adjusting for them to meet.
Does staff have any updates? Do you have any applications coming? We haven't seen a sizable application in years.
We had an application for a hotel sizable, didn't really apply.
I've never even turned into an application,
No,
actually.
that was, yeah.
Just those concept level. We have some, some land use applications that are in their. They're in the, they're,
Infancy.
They're in the pipeline.
They're in the application stage.
they are not, either they're complete and they need significant amendments to them, changes to them before they will come before your board. Or they're incomplete.
I don't want to argue with you on this.
You definitely don't.
Just the issue of fault.
Hopefully soon.
Thank you for holding developers into the fire, because for years, people would come in with incomplete applications and they'd actually come before the planning commission, and we'd have to say, sorry, but this isn't complete. So for staff to be doing that is awesome. We appreciate it.
No problem.
No problem for us.
Sorry, why you get paid the big bucks.
Yeah,
Anything?
no complaint.
no.
Is there
Thanks for
anything
being
you're
here.
curious about, like, does everybody? I
I'm
know-
curious about home law.
Oh, I know we talked about like the town manager's report that comes out every month and gets posted on the town's website and also gets presented at the town council. That's a really good way to just keep up on what's going on, but I guess I have like a couple of updates related to affordable housing stuff. If you haven't read the manager's report, it's fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jordan.
Bye.
Regionally, meaning Uray County, the city of Uray and Ridgway working together, have met their Prop 123 commitment
Good.
to produce a certain number of affordable housing units at a certain AMI target over the last like 3-year period, which will help us remain eligible for Prop 123 funding for the next 3 years, basically, after 3 years after the end of 2026. So the next round. Which is exciting. And then we also are applying for the ADU grant for permit-ready ADU plans.
I looked at the ones in Montrose.
Yeah,
They're cool.
yeah,
It's like there's
someone
enough,
donated those
there's enough variety.
to the city of Montrose.
And you look at it, it's like, yep, any of these could go up any day. Yeah, I was impressed.
And they're customizable,
Yeah.
but keeping in mind like the historic materials and then of course the wildfire resiliency code and the energy requirements. So all those things are gonna kind of come together and help us come up with some plans.
I was reading about that ADU stuff, and I don't know that I have the right words for it, but it was saying that we're now like an ADU compliant community or something. We got that,
Yeah.
got that now, right?
We're compliant with the state regulations and we are certified through DOLA as an ADU supportive jurisdiction.
And I was wondering if Can that override like HOA, ADU restrictions?
Well, sort of, that's a
Right.
very good question, and the state has some language in the bill that says, like HOA regulations can't trump the state requirement to allow an ADU anywhere. But we have a bunch of, communities in town where the ADU,
Restriction is a
restriction
platinum.
is a plat note or a PUD
Yeah.
note. So it's a little bit, it's a layer deeper and it is taking some staff consideration and time to kind of sort through that.
So it would maybe.
Like if it was in your
if it was in-
CCNRs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
This way.
If it was in the CCNRs or something like
There's any
that,
covenants, then
then it would be something that we could say like, oh, this state law comes first.
takes an amended plat.
But a PUD no is,
And then looking.
I have something I'd like to discuss.
Some of the HOAs are moving in, I mean, there's 2 or 3 HOAs in Silver Ranch. And one of them doesn't allow ADUs, at least one of them, by a plat note, and I think there's been a vote of the membership to get rid of that, so I don't know if it's been completed yet.
Mr. Terrace doesn't allow them.
Was Parkside a PUD? So we changed the plat note in Parkside without rezoning it, so now
I know.
towns
We have ADUs in Parkside.
I got it changed.
So you did it
No,
through
you
back
can't
door,
do
did
that.
you get?
No, I just, I'm not
before
in the gen. That we didn't know, I came right through the planning commission of town council, so.
I mean, that's kind of what we're trying to figure out, like,
A streamlined
Trying to figure
process.
out how
we're
you
trying to
did it.
figure out if that's legal, basically.
I mean, I just did what I was told, I came to town.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer either, so.
I mean, the town council, the HOA council,
Express list.
What's that?
the HOA voted to do it, wanted me to do it, I came to Jen, said, what do you wanna do? We did
You did it administrative.
Yeah,
no, I came, it wasn't, I came to planning commission.
it's some sort of,
I don't think I went to
it
council.
is a recorded document.
Yeah, it's
Whatever
like an
you did.
exemption.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But I don't know if you know what you call it exactly, but I looked at it. And I wondered if that's the
worked.
path.
It worked,
Let's do it.
yeah.
It's worked till now.
The bunch of ADUs out there,
Get the lawyer.
it created a bunch of ADUs. Could be worse.
Do you have any other updates?
Those are the only things that I thought you'd be excited about. That's all I've got.
Thank you.
So we're not allowed to talk about Mountain Lodge?
On the
Would you rather us not talk about it?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it at the planning level, if we can tell you what we know after the meeting.
Okay.
Are there any updates from the planning commission members?